Hello and welcome to another video here at Frontline Model Hobbies, and in this one, part 6, we are going to be doing the engine and the nacelle paintwork. And maybe a bit of the weathering as well. So if you're casting your mind back, part 5, this is where we got up to. So we did all the clean up and we did all the scratch building. So anyway, without further ado, let's crack on. And first off, what we're going to do is prime with XF19, my go-to primer. It's not really a primer, but I use it anyway. So what I'm going to do is leave you with me doing some priming. So cheerio, see you in a bit. And now that the priming's done, you can kind of understand of how long it took me to do the scratch building just for the engine. Quite a bit. I think it was about 3 weeks in total. And yeah, it would be really nice when it's all done, weathered and all painted. Also, not to mention, I also painted the nacelle. And it's quite shiny because I chucked a load of paint down there just to cover some scratches. So yeah, and also I painted the oil header tank, yeah. And then to paint guns H12 for the actual engine block, and to provide some shadowing as well. So I'm going to leave you with me painting this, and I'll be asking questions later. Cheerio. Look, it's all black. Yeah, sorry about that. Just had a moment. Just make sure you come in 360. Don't leave anything that's not black, especially the block.
Black. Johnny. Black. Yes, black. I shall need to get the black out. Johnny. Black. Johnny. Black. Black. Black for the sky and the sea. Black. All black. Like the procession of night that leads us into the valley of despair.
So moving on, we're going to do some weathering the first stage, XF64 in the black, and we're just going to provide some streaking, some weathering here and there, and this, that and the other. Generally, engines are not fully black. If you look close to them, they've got oil stains and everything all over them. So just spray some streaking on them and this, that and the other, and do some highlights. So I'm going to leave you with me doing this. Cheerio, see you in a bit. And there we have it. That is the first stage of the weathering. Very, very easy to do. Just you can do it as light or as dark as you wish, and then move forward from there. So now that is done, it's time to pick out those lovely, lovely details using Vallejo, or Vallejo as it's called. Anyway, moving on. So I've mixed up a green. It's like an interior green for the engine frame, and I've previously painted it white. What I later found out was I totally cocked this up, so you don't need to paint it white. You can just come straight in with the green and paint it as is straight away. Now, this way of doing things, like I said, you don't need to paint the white, but I'm going to leave this in here because it's painting the green. So anyway, hopefully I should see you in a bit. Cheerio. Now that painting is done, for the frame that is, I'm now going to paint matte aluminium, which is AK's Extreme Metals, onto the engine nacelle. The reason being is because I want this stuff to dry. So yeah, reasons. So bear with me 2 minutes, and probably not even that, and I'll see you in a bit. Oh yeah, what I forgot to mention is don't forget to paint the oil tank at the front of the engine, because that's silver as well. But one thing I do is later paint it all a flat clear, just to tone it down. And also I'm just making sure that the engine mount is the same colour as the interior, which it near enough is. Now moving on, I paint Villaggio silver on all the pipework. Don't do this. Literally, I've left it in just to tell you, don't do it, because the next stage, the bloody stuff doesn't stick. Yeah, the parts that are supposed to be silver, yeah, paint them silver. The ones that are supposed to be like a brassy goldy colour, they don't stick to the silver. I thought, oh, it will be like a better tonal variation and all this, that and the other. It's just all bollocks. So this is the stuff that I was using. I was using AK Interactive's True Metal, and I technically only used one of these instead of three for reasons, but mainly I was using the copper. The brass was just for the top parts. And when I was putting it on the silver, as you can see, I put a shit ton of stuff on there, and it just did not stick at all. I know it's not really supposed to stick, but it wasn't sticking to the silver. So I had to paint strip it with Mr. Leveling Thinner, and I managed to get back to this stage, which my eye is twitching right now just thinking about it. But it did take me about a week of stress, fretting, being pissed off. But anyway, we got here, we got to this stage. Now I've put all these things in there, but there was bits which I'm pointing out that broke because I had to paint strip it, because the plastic is also shit. I will get off my soapbox soon, but anyway.
Oh, fuck it.
Wanker! Wanker! Twat! 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 You twat! Twat! Twat!
Crikey, there's a stroke of luck. He is one now. Oh, bugger.
Bugger. That was a bit unlucky.
I've come a different way this time, so there's no birds around here, that's for sure. Bugger. Oh, bugger.
Whatever you do, do not get this stuff onto the engine block. It will not come off and you'll be buggered. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with me doing this lovely spot of messing about with some oils. So cheerio, see you in a bit. Okay, so for the next layer in this process of painting the engine is doing all the silver wires and cables and pipes and this, that and the other, which needs to be painted this colour. Now, in my own head, this is the right way of doing things. So yeah, reasons. Cheerio, see you in a bit. Now we're at my most favourite bit, the weathering. And we're using AK Interactive's engine grime and landing gear dust effects, because you don't really need to just do it on landing gear. And as you can see, I'm mixing it all together and just doing like highlights, low lights and what have you with the two different colours. And I'm using as well neat white spirit just to thin it. But anyway, I'm just going to leave you with me doing this like normal. Cheerio, see you in a bit. Oh yeah, I did forget to mention, I do apologise, that I put a flat clear over the top of this before I started the first round of weathering with the oils from the AK Interactive. That being because the true metals that I used is like an oil-based paste, so I didn't want that getting stripped off. Now, this is obviously not the last of the weathering process. We're going to come back to this a few times, especially when it's all together. Now, the next phase is to do the shadow brown wash, and I'm going to mix this with some black as well for the nacelle. So I mix it all together, as you're going to see, and I just use some white spirit again, just neat stuff, and I just mix it all together. And to be fair, I get a bit, not bored, but I wanted this to be a bit mucky, dirty. Obviously, there's been some oil stainage, you know, just an oil stain or whatever, or an oil leak. They're not going to take the engine out to clean that up, are they, really? So the idea is just to make it look a bit mucky, dirty. See you in a bit. So that now I've chucked all the oil paints in the world at this section, it's time to clean it up. And I must admit, I go a bit overboard and probably take too much out. But either way, it's up to you of how far you want to go. You can either take as much out or put as much in. You don't have to listen to anybody, just tell them to fuck off. Anyway, cheerio, see you in a bit. So the next phase of this operation is to do some streaking. Not that type of streaking before you start. Oh, dirty buggers. Anyway, so moving on, if you get any oil splattering over the back of your bulkhead, Ursa, you can do some very nice streaking effects. So you can just pull down the remnants from the top of the panel line, what you've just made, like so. So just leave me with this, and yeah, my hand goes really fast, doesn't it? Cheerio. And finally, do you want to see a grown man cry? Do you want to see him struggle? Well, yeah, carry on watching, because when I was trying to get this engine in, and I do remember trying to do this from a few months ago, I literally struggled. It was like I couldn't remember how it all went back in. But it does go in there, trust me. You just have to jiggle it around a bit and just be careful and try and manipulate it in. But I think it's just because it's been painted. I was that stressed and that worried about it that I was like, well, why am I so worried? Why? Just get it in there, sir. Just whack it in. Oh, God, I'm at it again, aren't I? Anyway, I'll leave you with me trying to wrestle this in. It does take quite a while. So, one final thing that I've got to mention just before I go from this video is that if you've got any wires, cables, pipework or anything that's just going to go to a flat bulkhead, or as you can see, this front ring, don't forget that all the connectors and stuff, to put them on first. You just don't want a generic pipe or whatever you just finishing dead. So that's what I've just done there. And there we have it. That is the engine all glued in, ready for the final bit of weathering and the ignition leads and this, that and the other to be put on there, and some more wiring, so we can do that on the next video. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.